Hi everybody, it's Kim Wilson here. Welcome to our July card class, and we'll do 3 cards as usual. And this time we're going to be using the Hues of Happiness product suite, and then I'll show you also the same layouts with the Splendid Day suite. So I'll show you different ways to use these layouts and techniques, and we'll just have some fun today crafting. All right, so let's get started. If you have your kit, you can pull out the pieces in this envelope, and we'll get started with this card and get some pieces ready to go here. Maybe we'll get our embossing done first, get that out of the way. It might be a little noisy. I don't know if I've done embossing on the camera before, but this is the card we're going to do. And this layout is very simple. It's basically just adding a layer of designer paper and then another layer of designer paper like that. But we're going to give it a little twist, and that is to put a little diagonal on the bottom here. And I also did added this kind of notebook edge to the top, and that is from the matching dies. There's a little die here that makes that little notebook top, and there's also a little dashed top as well for that a different look. And those are the Blossoming Happiness dies that go along with this suite. So there's all the pieces we need, and then we're just adding some die cut flowers right from the designer paper. This paper is so beautiful, so colorful and lovely. Okay, for the diagonal across the bottom, I'm just going to take my trimmer, put one edge in the groove, and then probably go up about half an inch, maybe a little more, just to give that little angle to the cut. And there we go. All right, so have our little angle there, and then the sentiment can go right across at an angle there. So let me grab my stamp here. I'm going to do the happy birthday again, and I'm going to do white embossing just to make it a little different. So we will grab my embossing tools here, and there's something new here you might notice, and that is our new, let me grab the name here, it's called Embossing Additions Toolkit. So it comes with the Embossing Buddy, which is just chock full of powder there to rub gently across your piece so you don't have any fingerprints on it that will attract the embossing powder. And then there's, of course, the embossing powder case and these nifty tweezers that have a ceramic tip to them to hold your items while you're embossing. And I already had everything except the tweezers, but I got the whole kit again because I just had to have these, and I love them. So we're gonna, as usual, stamp in Versamark when we're embossing. So get that nice and inked up, but I'm not pushing down too much because I don't want to get edges. I'm just tapping gently. And then stamp the Versamark across that little diagonal. And grab my white embossing powder. We have 6 colors of embossing powder, and they're now packaged in 3 and 3. So you get basics, I think is the white, the black, and the clear are the basics. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like it's in good shape there, ready for embossing. And I'm going to put my lid on my ink pad before I forget. And fortunately, with my new setup, I have my a plug close by, so I'm going to get this on. And I like to warm it up for a few seconds before I apply it to my paper here, just to make sure it's nice and hot. And then so this is kind of different, that you can different technique that we haven't done before. It's embossing right onto the designer paper, and it turns out pretty good. So there you go. There's the happy birthday. You can kind of see it as it melts there. You don't want to overdo it. Just make sure everything's shiny. Okay, so now we'll take that piece and that will go on this piece and start gluing everything together. So I have a bunch of these glue bottles that are almost empty, and what I do is let them sit like this on the broad tip, and it seems like when they're almost empty they come out easier with the broad tip, and then I kind of bang it down like that. And you can even use that tip to spread it around too. So people give me the glue at class and say, this is empty. So then I toss it in a drawer. And I'm determined to use these empty tubes up because I know they're not quite empty. They still have a little glue left to them. So we'll try to get some of these. I've got 3 of them piled up here. Get some of these used up so I can finally throw them away. Okay, we'll just center that. I love that little notebook edge. That looks so cool. All right, and I love this paper too. It's so bright and pretty. All right, so just some dimensionals to add our flowers. Add a couple there. And I die cut all of these flowers from, I just did a whole sheet of the designer paper. Kind of looks better like that. All right. And then there's also a die that cuts the leaves out as well. So let me get a mini dimensional for the leaves here. Get that on. And then the other part of this suite, the Hues of Happiness suite, are the dots. So let me grab those. They're called Glossy Dot Assortment, and they're in 4 of the colors that come in this. This is the sheet where you can die cut the leaves. There's a die for this leaf, that leaf, and then all 3 of these flowers have a die. The only thing you can't cut out is this tiny little leaf here, and then some of these little ones are just in for filler. But I just kind of cut around with scissors so I could fit them through my machine, and then cut out a whole bunch of these flowers. So aren't those pretty? All different colors, almost like a rainbow of flowers in the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. Okay, so here's, I've got, oh, if you have the kit from me or are coming to class, you'll get a whole strip of the dots. They're so shiny. And we'll grab the take your pick tool and put a couple of these. You'll need them up for all the projects, so just grab a couple of, let's see what colors would look good. This color kind of matches. I have a Coastal Cabana, or maybe even Pool Party. I guess that would be Coastal Cabana, Pool Party. Some of those colors there, and I don't want to poke myself. It's easier to do when you have a whole sheet of them. Okay, we'll put a big one at the bottom. I like to do them in 3s. I don't know, 3s or 5s. I usually like 3s. So, well, that one disappeared. And we'll put maybe there's Melon Mambo is one of the colors. So we'll put a Melon Mambo gem right there. And then how about I think these are Gorgeous Grapes, the other ones. So we'll put a Gorgeous Grape there since that's the same color there. And we're done with that one already. So Hues of Happiness, but I did promise to show the same layout with Splendid Day Suite, and so this is it. And this one I did without cutting the diagonal, but I did emboss it, the sentiment. So I've embossed in copper to match the copper on the designer paper there, and then I used brushed metallic dots, I think. So it's the same layout but totally different look to it. The colors are more muted. We've got soft seafoam and pale papaya and white, but then that burst of metallics. So there you go with the favorite layout card. I'll clean up this mess and get ready for the next card. Happy crafting, everyone. See you in a bit.